Come on. Welcome to the Adult in the Room podcast live stream for Tuesday, November 20th. How are you? I am Victoria Taft. Today we have three guests I absolutely love and another guest I've never had on before, but I imagine that I will love that person too. We've got lots to talk about. I wanted to get an update from an expert on what's going on at the Portland ICE facility that has been the site of riots and violence and competing interests now that a lot of conservatives have shown up there over this time. But one of the persons who's been there since the jump, June 7th, is Hunny Badger Mom, otherwise known as CK Bufarash. And did I do it? Did I say it right this time? Did I do it?
Yeah. Close.
Shelly.
Bufarash.
Bufarash. Yeah, I thought I said that. How are you? How are you,
good.
Girl?
Taking a break. Feeling pretty good about that.
Oh, okay. You know, I think things got a little crazy out there between the yelling factions out there, and it became sort of superfluous. And, oh, I know, let's just go out and yell at each other, and that will somehow pass for a news story. But that's really not what's going on. I mean, that's what was going on when you decided to take a break, right?
Yes, it was streamer wars, it seemed like. Streamers from both sides, and they yell at each other, go down the block and yell at each other. And I just thought, okay, this is really not the story that I had set out to cover. And that story had kind of wound down and is in like a holding pattern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are the old days, but do they have any of these nutballs out there anymore? Or the grannies with the you know.
They still have the grannies out there. I think they come out during the day, during the week.
Of course.
And then they had jazzercise the very last time I was down there. They were doing jazzercise outside.
Yeah, I saw those outfits and I thought, oh man, I don't think I can unsee that. That'd be like me putting on one of those things and going out there and going, hey, no, homie, don't want that. No,
and they still have the inflatables out. They literally roll this open closet out that has inflatables hanging on it, and people pick them out and put them on.
Oh, is that how they do it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they're not doing anything about the new rules that I'm talking about, the feds here, where they said, hey, we can arrest you for impeding a federal officer if you do any of these things on or near the ICE headquarters. They're not doing any. They're not keeping their promises to go get these guys, are they?
So it doesn't look like it, but I'm not entirely sure how they're interpreting these rules. I think the biggest change was that they could actually go after somebody that was not on federal property, but close to it. And
yes. I'm losing you. Bummer. Okay. Maybe it's just because I put something up there. Chelly
across the street, and they went after them.
I missed all of it. You just dipped out.
Back. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. Could you just repeat that last answer? Yeah.
Yeah. So I did see last night somebody's video, I believe it was from last night, where they actually went after somebody that was across the street that had set a flag on fire. I don't know that they arrested them, but they came out and they put it out, which is, they don't usually touch anything really off of federal property.
Yeah. This is interesting.
Yeah,
So right now it's pretty chill, except for the streamer wars, and those are people who, like Tommy Boy. I mean, the kid just cracks me up, honestly, and goes off and yells. I mean, he's just making me laugh. But it's not particularly. I mean, it's annoying to Antifa. That much I understand.
very, very annoying to them. And it's definitely a distraction from the ICE facility because he can't get within 200 feet. So it
Right.
drags a lot of them away from the front of the building.
So maybe he's kind of doing the feds a favor by drawing them away, huh? I
I,
want to go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't think they hate that he's down there. It definitely has made it easier for them to go in and out.
He had
So
some trouble. He got cold cocked or something in Eugene, yeah, at the U of O. Yeah, a few days back, and they were down there. A bunch of folks, the streamer war people, were down. Conservatives are down in Eugene at the University of Oregon campus, and they were trying to hold some sort of dialogue with the students and we're going to talk to Dan Sandini because he's the guy who ID'd the person, I believe it's him, who identified the person handing out whistles to drown out the conservatives is a person who's on staff at the University of Oregon. And Dan is just like a dog with a bone. And so that's the last time I saw Tommy Boy. I'm sorry he got hurt, but what do you think of that?
uh, which part of it?
Well, that they went down there and then they got beaten up, or at least Tommy Boy did.
So I've been on some campuses with Peter Boghossian and Billboard Chris and James Klug, Savannah Hernandez, both PSU and U of O. And I've done a couple other things with Eleazar, I think Perez is his last name.
Uh-huh.
And I think what happened is about what you'd expect to happen there. It does not surprise me that somebody from being on staff would come in and try and disrupt this. They're really not interested in any kind of dialogue that opposes the very far left viewpoints that most of these people hold. So
Yeah. Yeah, well, you'd think that it wouldn't be a staff member. I mean, oh, hey, thanks for giving us something that we can use to drown out the opposition viewpoint. I mean, that's absurd. And the universities can't do that. That's viewpoint discrimination. Come on, man.
I have seen them go after the TPUSA rep that was down there on the campus, and it was somebody on staff. They almost always will have someone on staff that they'll enlist to come and interfere as if it's more official coming from them. I'm not surprised by that at all.
Interesting. I didn't realize that about the TPUSA folks who'd been identified and targeted by another person who's on staff at the University of Oregon. Those are state employees. We or whoever is in Oregon pay their salaries. We don't pay their salaries for viewpoint discrimination.
I think the problem was that she had put up a table and had pamphlets, and they were like, "You don't have a permit to do this. You need to leave."
Okay.
And she did, but they waited there while she packed up and had no problem going after, just kind of hurrying her along. So I don't think that they feel the need to not discriminate against another viewpoint.
They're very intentional about that. In other words, they have no problem doing that. That's interesting. I didn't realize that one needed to have a permit to put a table on campus for a table.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, she needed to do that, I guess. And now she knows, and she'll never let that happen again. But if it happens again and she still gets hectored by these jackasses, then okay, that's another deal. Now, let me call your attention to a Portland area teacher. This was no, I'm sorry. She's a principal of a school. Have you seen this video? And look at her.
I
Well,
don't think so.
Okay. Well, it was put out, I think, either last night, this morning. Listen to this.
I'm Manon. I am the principal at Echo Shaw Elementary School. I am horrified by what is happening in my community. I, as a child, was fascinated by World War II and read all of the stories about the Holocaust. And we are entering similar territory.
Hold on. I was just looking at your face when you were listening to that. You're like, oh God, here we go. Godwin's law is invoked. You just lost the argument.
Right?
Here, she has more stupidity.
What ICE is doing is what the Gestapo did in Nazi Germany. And that is not an overstatement. When I see masked
I beg to differ.
people tearing people out of their cars, breaking their windows, sitting on them as if they were, I mean, I felt like I was watching a George Floyd video, except that I now know George Floyd. George Floyd is my friend. This is not okay that this is happening on our streets.
Okay, it's not okay that this is happening on our street. That was that's David Medina's stuff. That's his video, which is excellent. And he's making a plan to talk to the district to find out what the hell that lady's talking about. And you know what? These people are so horrified by the sight of somebody being taken away by somebody with a warrant for their arrest. And it seems to me that they should be better schooled up on the issue. If the people in Multnomah County and all over throughout Oregon would allow ICE to be in the jails, they wouldn't have to do this. They're the reason.
Correct. Yes, it's their fault. Katie, Davis Court went on that ride along.
Yes.
And I believe that's one of the things that was pointed out during that time was that if they had a relationship within the jails and the prisons, they would be able to pick these people up peacefully instead of having to chase them through neighborhoods. And it's not like these people that they're picking up. I mean, you can actually go on their website and look and see the crimes that these people have committed. And these are not people you want in your neighborhood. And I don't care if you're here illegally, you should expect that at some point you're going to get picked up and sent home. And I don't care if it's been 20 years. Do I feel bad for you? Maybe a little bit. Yeah, especially if you've built a life here. But that is a risk you took. If I went to France and overstayed my visa, oh my gosh, I would absolutely expect to get kicked out of the country. And they would, for sure.
Yeah. There are a lot of liberties that people take with our freedoms here, and the assumption that, well, they're not going to do anything in America, those simps, they're not going to allow anyone to just be carted off. Well, now the tables are turned, and we're sick and tired of people sucking at the government teat and not real following the rules. We only really want rule breakers here. We want to choose the team, and people who have broken the law once they've come here are not it. So, in summary, I'd like your thoughts about what has transpired in Portland at the ICE facility and what's going on now and what you think will happen in the future.
Okay. So it definitely had several turnings down there. In June and through probably the end of July, it was regularly very violent. And as it caught the attention of media other than Katie and I, and the attention of the administration, that kind of shifted things, because then more media came down and they changed their tactics a little bit, and it was more circus-like. And that's when you started to see the inflatables and the silly things, and they would bring in extra protesters that looked a lot less scary than the people in block. And I believe that was intentional optics. And then as we got closer to a decision on the guard, then and only then were the Portland police allowed to actually enforce law and be present down there. And that absolutely changed how rowdy that was, how different it was. I was shocked to see people get arrested. And I know that some people on the right were saying, oh, they're only...
We're going to wait for you to
and the last
buffer.
Am I back? Yeah.
You're back.
I live so far out in the country. It's really hard to get good internet. So the far left, I actually have several recordings I did of the meeting last night. They're very angry at Murillo. And this is the far left, the people that are the ICE out of Portland people. And uh, they're not happy that the city is not moving on revoking the permit for ICE. They absolutely believe that's going to happen. And I don't think that they can do that. So I also think that we're now in the streamer wars version of the protest where it's the right versus the left, and it's a lot sillier and a lot less dangerous than it was, especially because the police are down there. They're giving tickets out for everything. Jaywalking. There are people smoking pot in front of the building, right in front of the cops. So they were complaining about getting a ticket for that. But that has definitely dampened things. And we're going into winter. And historically, these protesters, especially the Occupy ones, are not going to overwinter outside in front of the ICE building. I think you'll just see occasional direct action, and it will pick up again in the spring, especially because the guard is not there. And the guard, I don't know if they're going to end up there, but I'm going to say, this is the last thing I'll say, I do believe that we need the guard, and here's why. We do not have enough Portland police officers on the ground in Central Precinct. We have 7 to 10 at nighttime. So they're calling in people for overtime. They need to have 70, 80, 90, 100 officers. And that's not an exaggeration. So it would make sense for the feds to help the feds and take the pressure off Portland police for the sake of the citizens of Portland.
Do you think that the safe house is still going and all of that? The people are still going in and out of the safe house?
Probably not all of them. I heard Chandler actually said to me the other night that I was there, because we all don't get along. A lot of us don't like each other. I said, yeah, I think I've heard something like that. And there's definitely factions now the longer that it's gone on. So I do think Chandler has his friends over. Would they use it as a place for somebody to escape when they committed a crime? I'm sure if they were friends of Chandler's, he absolutely would open his house to those people. So
he's part of it, right? I have a yeah, he's the guy. I mean, how long has he been renting that house or that apartment?
I don't know how long he's been there, but I do know I interviewed him very soon after I started covering it down there. And he's friendly is not the word, but he's always happy to talk. And he's an avowed socialist. And he'll talk to anybody about socialism. And, that definitely, I'm sure that swing to that left politics come from his growing up years. I mean, he's talked about that a little bit too. And he's, I think, become a little more radicalized. And his girlfriend is that young woman that goes by Beans that works at Willamette Week. So does that connect some dots there?
Oh, I can't believe that. Is just amazing to me.
Yeah. She's being too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she works at Willamette Week. I mean, she's not the reporter at Willamette Week. No. She works in but she goes out and gets videos sometimes too.
Yeah, and she's written some things for them, but not like on the protest, on culture stuff, but and not a lot. But she definitely works there. So.
Oh, that's interesting. Very interesting. We have a note here, a message, and you're welcome to send in comments and that sort of thing. This is from, let's see, she loved me on payday. I'm full-blooded Native American. I'm waiting for ICE to deport me to Central America. They were arresting Navajos quite frequently. Okay, when? The last time I saw anything about a Native American person being arrested, it was a conspiracy theory, and that woman was detained momentarily and then was let go because she's an American citizen. So, I mean, a little bad news goes a long way.
I do. So you do know that a lot of the ICE leadership was replaced with the Border Patrol leadership.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that has absolutely meant a difference on the ground. They are doing, not just ICE is doing targeted um, arrests, but Border Patrol doesn't have to. They play under different rules,
Oh,
and
okay.
they're definitely uh, they're definitely playing by their rules, from what I've heard. Now, I can't talk too much about that because I haven't been on the ground with it with them. I haven't seen
Hmm.
exactly how they're doing it, but I do think they're doing sweeps also.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. No, I was wondering about that myself, but
Yeah.
I give them the benefit of the doubt, which is
Yeah.
more than most people do.
Well, I think
And
we should. And and they were also very open about that they were changing the leadership because they wanted to see Trump, the administration wants to see bigger numbers and they like the optics. So that's a large part of why we're seeing some of the things we're seeing.
they like the optics.
They like the optics. They want people. Have you seen the DHS X account and the
Oh yeah.
videos
Oh
they
yeah.
make? I
Those
mean,
sexy videos they make.
yes,
It,
yes.
it's so hilarious. I have one of them somewhere.
They
If I,
really they crack me up. I mean, like I'm like I cannot believe we're living in this timeline
I
that we're
know.
seeing these videos that the government is putting out, and they're really well done and
They're they're like
celebrating the arrests.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't like I say. I am not fond of the optics, and I understand why that principal wanted to say something, but
Mhm.
please stop with the over the top analogs to
Yes,
Nazis and the SS. Please stop that dipshittery, if you will. Please do something about the fact that your government, your woke government, won't let ICE arrest these people in the jails. And then if there's a complaint about it, complain then.
then we could talk. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I completely agree. Um, I have brown boys too. My boys are very brown. They are
Mm-hmm.
somebody that absolutely could be targeted. I have talked to them about it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
your first call is to me if anything were to ever happen, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't
Um,
either. I don't either.
yeah, I
We have a little as George W. Bush or George Bush, the elder said once, those are my little brown grandchildren. I have mixed race grandchildren
yeah,
too, but and a son-in-law, but he's an American citizen.
right.
So
I
so are
I don't
so are
think
our family members, the American citizens.
right. I don't think that they're going anywhere. And one of the things I saw on the city council meeting last night that was maybe repeated a couple times. 1,000 people have been disappeared from
Yeah.
Alligator Alcatraz, and their corpses are probably just rotting in mass graves
Oh,
somewhere.
for God's sake,
I'm
that is so
like,
stupid.
who believes this? Like,
Nobody normal believes it, but if you're willing to lie at every given moment and you're willing to believe the worst about Trump, which many people do. I mean, this is the thing. They never ever will leap to the conclusion that okay, he's being reasonable. They never do that for
oh
him.
no,
He never gets the benefit of the doubt. It's got to be worst case. It's Trump. It's got to be worst case.
yeah.
So that's pretty absurd.
You'd be surprised how many of these people, well, you might not be, but I would hear it over and over and over again. They're killing people, they're disappearing people.
Yeah.
How are you not upset? And I'm like, I don't see evidence of that. And I don't believe that's happening.
Right.
So,
Yeah. The disappearing thing and kidnapping people. Lots of people are kidnapped. If arresting them is kidnapping now, if we're going to call that kidnapping now, well, okay. Well, I mean, where are you for the handoff when somebody's getting arrested for prostitution and sending poor girls out there to do your bidding so that you can get their money? It's
yeah.
they're going to stop in Charlotte, I understand. The sweeps that they've got going there and the ICE
They're
stuff,
stopping them.
they're stopping. Yep. They've piled up a whole bunch of
Oh,
bad guys. And they're going to go to they're likely going to go to New Orleans now. So that will be another, amazing thing. Oh no, I can't believe it. They're sending the feds in to get law and order underfoot. I mean, it's just, I'm sorry. I just don't, the whole thing just makes me crazy. It does.
I think it's interesting that they're just going from city to city and they're like highlighting each city as they go into it. I guarantee you they're everywhere else, but they have this week on Real ICE Agents of the United States government. We're going into Charlotte. So
that's funny. Yeah. Yeah. Well, all right. I appreciate you coming on and giving us the state of play in Portland. Things are toning down. It's getting cold. Many fewer people will want to be out in the cold.
I'll go back when the guard shows up, if that happens.
Yeah. Okay, good. Oh, we have one more comment. I'm guessing you were crazy before the whole thing. Yeah, before the whole thing. Absolutely. I was totally crazy. I'm sure it's a slam on me. Why not? Sure. Appreciate your comments. Everybody comment. It's fine. I'll highlight you. I'm used to it. I've gotten death threats from Antifa. Believe me when I tell you that most anything I'm sort of unfazed by. And this has been going on for years. So it's okay.
Can relate.
It's going to be fine. Yeah, exactly. How's that lawsuit of yours going?
We're just waiting for their response. We haven't heard from anything. We are countersuing a frivolous lawsuit.
Good.
Because it is. I don't think that the client either hasn't been honest with the lawyer or he doesn't care. And so looking at the evidence that we had, was like, this lawsuit is completely frivolous. And
yes,
I'm not asking for money, just for lawyers' fees. So we'll see what happens.
Court fees, lawyers' fees. I'd ask for punies if you could. I would.
I think with the frivolous lawsuit, I don't think that we can. I'm pretty sure it's lawyer stuff, and that's not my area of expertise. But I think she said, no, we ask for her to pay your lawyer's fees.
Okay.
That would be great.
You can tell us who your attorney is?
Oh, yeah. Julie Parrish.
Oh, she is? Yes. Oh, good. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
great.
Terrific. Thanks.
She's a bulldog. She's going to fight for me.
Yeah, she doesn't. I keep asking. Well, I've asked her several times to be on the program, and she won't do it because she's afraid her partners will get mad at her for being on the Crazy Ladies show. Maybe that's it.
She said they are done. Like, there's more stuff to do with ICE that people need help with, and she's like, we are all iced out. I can, with my lawsuit, that's the end of the ICE stuff with them, because they've done so much stuff having to do with ICE.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad she took your case. That's amazing.
I'm very glad.
They did very, very well on that case of about the woman who was trying to get some sleep.
Yes.
They didn't win it, but boy, did they unfurl a whole bunch of discovery.
The stuff, and it hasn't even all come out. There is a lot to that. I covered that as well, and I know Cloud now, and so I got to hear a lot about it, and it was gobsmacking, the stuff that the city has done. I've actually since uncovered some more things having to do with the city. I'm going to write about, leave a little trail of breadcrumbs for other people to look into. So hopefully posting that today.
Okay.
Different things around the city that I am starting to look into.
Okay. Well, tell me where to look. I mean, is it going to be on your timeline?
I'll send it to you. It will be on my timeline. Yeah.
Neato.
Yeah.
Okay. Send it to me.
I will.
Thanks so much, Shelley. I appreciate it. Honey Badger Mom, everybody. Thank you so much. She's awesome. She's a bulldog. Tommy exposed Antifa, writes Dirk Diggler. Sure it is. He broke their minds and he broke their hearts. I kind of feel that's true. I mean, it is. I love, we're waiting for another guest. So I just, so I'm going to chit chat for a minute, but there's a character in a book I just absolutely love. And I love all my spy thrillers. And there's one guy who's so crazy that even the worst of the bad guys think that they don't want to have anything to do with him. And Tommy Boy sort of fits that character. I mean, he is willing to say, do, scream, anything. And they got him removed from around the ice facility. He has to be 200 feet away from the deal? And I've seen some of his antics recently, over the past month. And I mean, it's hilarious. And it just takes them away from what their mission is. And I say takes Antifa away from what their mission is. Let's see. Next Ice, who's this? Is this, She Loved Me on Payday. Next Ice will be refurbishing England's old slave ships and deporting white people back to England. Oh, okay. What do we have here? Dirk says, yet they still gravitate to Tommy. Oh, yes. Do they ever? He gets it's a snappy powder. That's an old-fashioned, old-timey way of saying the guy won't stop talking, and he just gives them crap right back. Okay, so this is very, very interesting. Okay, there is an ad that, for whatever reason, Alexis, I'm calling audible to you. Can you get that ad about the military and how the senators and the House members are talking about telling and urging people to disobey Trump orders because they're somehow illegal? And this all fits in with the big psyop, if you will, and the disinformation that is going on with respect to anything having to do with Trump. I mean anything having to do with Trump. And this is a series of senators and House members, and we want you to make sure that you can disobey illegal orders. You can do that. Oh, you found it? Oh, cool. Is this it? Let me just hit it. No, that's not it. Sorry about this. I had it all figured out, and you're not going to believe this now, of course. That's okay. It's going to be fine. Anyway, so they said, well, you have every right to disobey an illegal order. And they never say...
Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly. Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
who take risks each day
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
But from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal
orders.
You must
You
refuse
can refuse
illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Give up
Give
the
up
ship.
the ship. This is like one of those ads that they put on. Hollywood usually does them, and they use the same phraseology, and they're told, obviously everything's coordinated and choreographed. But you're just like, what the hell are they talking about? I mean, that's really the question. What are they talking about? Well, this lady on Fox News, that's Martha McCallum, who's usually as unflappable as you can find, was talking to one of the senators in that video. And she was trying to get at the fact that they never mention what supposed illegal thing Donald Trump did, which would help if they actually did that. It would be most instructive. We'd all like to know. But they don't say that. Oh, it does look like AI. Yeah. Is it David? Yeah, David says that looks like AI. It's not. I mean, it may be AI in some respects, but no. Dirk says it's sedition. Every member of the service is aware of what orders can or cannot be carried out. Absolutely, they already know. They know that they're not supposed to do that, and that is just another reason why. It just adds to the chaos and gauziness of the whole thing. Well, this man has spent 30 years in the military and in the Army, and then he went Army National Guard, and then he went to he worked in the White House and in the DNI's office. Okay, so the guy has some cred. He's got some intelligence background and military background. And this guy did this video talking about that ad put out by Democrat members of the Senate and House.
My name is Thomas Speciale. I have over 34 years of service in the Army and the Army Reserves, over 20 years in the national intelligence community during intelligence analysis, human intelligence collection, and I recently served as a senior advisor for the DNI on counterintelligence and security. I've served on active duty as an artilleryman, as an infantryman, and an interrogator in Afghanistan alongside U.S. Special Forces. This is a message to all members of the military and our veterans. Indeed, this is a message to all Americans who love our country and our Constitution.
He goes on, and you'll hear it. But just know, okay, so he's established his credibility, but he's not relying or making a false claim to authority just because he's been in the trenches all these years. He's now telling you what he really thinks, and here we go.
What you saw yesterday from a number of U.S. congressmen and women is nothing more than a disinformation campaign targeting you directly, specifically military, active duty military, and veterans, but it is ultimately directed at all Americans. These individuals are using their credentials in a fallacious argument that the U.S. military is being ordered to do something that is illegal. That is not what is happening. I view this action by these members of Congress as a direct assault on us and advocacy for mutiny. Advocacy for mutiny is a crime, and it is seditious.
No.
Their goal is to divide our military and damage our republic. I am not going to tell you what an illegal order is because I know you already know that. But what I saw yesterday is exactly the same thing that they did when they claimed that the military was filled with extremists. It was a lie then, and it is a lie now.
Now he's going to go back over the fact that he knows this is an information op. It is, in fact, aren't we getting so much better at identifying these now? I mean, we have looked at this and seen stuff like this since Arab Spring out loud in front of everyone, right? And I was confused then, but I'm not so confused now. And here he is talking about it out loud, and now he's calling your attention to it to say, this is nonsense.
This action is the most egregious abuse of their influence I have ever seen, except possibly for a number of woke generals who called for a purge of our military if they supported President Trump during his last administration. Remember, these are the same Congresspeople who supported the bogus J6 committee investigation, forcibly injected you with an experimental drug, spread bogus intelligence about the president being a Russian asset, the same people who told you that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation when they knew for a fact it was not. The same Congresspeople who are willing to disregard their oaths to protect the Constitution when they labeled patriotic Americans domestic terrorists for if they supported the Second Amendment and they exercised their First Amendment rights to free speech, freedom of assembly, practice of their religion, and freedom to redress their grievances. These are the same people that drove us into not one, but two false impeachments. They tried to bankrupt.
I totally agree with that. I agree with everything the guy says, but I just want people to just pause there for a second to find out what he's talking about there. There was one, in fact, one of them was brought without any evidence. It was just like feelings and emotions. J6, and then they impeached him with no evidence. They never got convictions on either one of them because both were bogus. And we all know that. So here he goes again.
President Trump, they tried to imprison him, and they have tried to kill him twice. They tried to have him removed from the ballot.
Yeah, they did.
They will do anything it takes to stop him, including trying to get you to disobey supposed illegal orders. These are the same people that want women in men's bathrooms and sports. They label parents domestic terrorists for wanting to protect their children from sexual assault. These are the same people who burned cities all across the city, and they are the same members of Congress who advocated for defunding law enforcement and the murder of law enforcement. They are the people, then they turn to those same law enforcement and ask for protection.
Yeah.
I already know that you will abide by your oath, because we all know that oaths matter and that they never expire. And that oath is simple. We will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that we will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that we will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over us according to the regulations and Uniform Code of Military Justice.
Yep.
So help us God. If you have any questions about...
Yeah, he loses it here, and you can, don't blame him, because he's making sense, and he's so offended by what has been done in this commercial. And I've got to call in to one of the senators to find out who paid for it. And I just want to know, I mean, is it coming out of campaign funds or... Yeah. Oh, here we go. That's not a bad call. Democrats are mostly confused, says Durham Tutton. Yeah, well, I mean, they're confused enough to believe that commercial, maybe, huh? Dumb voters are maybe dumb enough to believe it. So he's just trying to set it straight, and he wraps it up.
What an illegal order would actually be, or posse comitatus, or the Insurrection Act.
Yeah.
Please do your own research before you disobey orders from our commander-in-chief or from the officers placed over you. What these Congress people are advocating for is nothing less than mutiny. Don't fall for this disinformation campaign. Do not let them divide us.
Yeah, that's really what's going on. They're trying to divide us.
We are not red or blue. We are not white or black or brown. We are Americans, and we are veterans, and we are members of the military. And we are the backbone of this nation. Do not fall for this disinformation campaign, and do not buy into the suggestion to be mutinous against your commander-in-chief and the Secretary of War. Do not fall for the trap, because that is what this is. Their entire goal is to divide us against ourselves. Do not fall for it.
Wow. He's not the only one, of course, making appeals. We were just trying to find out, okay, so if the president has made appeals to and claims and orders, given orders that are illegal, chop, chop, let's go. Let's find out what happened, because nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So this was the Martha McCallum, she's pretty even keel. She's not an emotional weirdo. So she's trying to ask one of the senators in this short clip about, okay, so what illegal orders did the president give? Didn't go so well.
Video on all over the place. When you see this video on social media, I think a lot of people scratch their heads and they say, what exactly are they talking about? Are they talking about
Martha,
not allowing gunboats to make it to the United States carrying drugs?
No.
Is that what you're talking about?
Now, I just want you to watch the Democrat senator completely ignore the question.
Martha, here's a novel idea. How about we actually prevent things from happening before they become a problem?
I think that's what they're trying to do.
What you're saying is we have to wait until there's a problem to respond to that problem.
No, I'm not.
Right? As a military officer, what I think is important is we train people, we give them information, we prepare people for challenges coming down the pike. That is what I did as a commander in the military. That's what I'm doing now, as we are standing by our troops.
Standing on authority.
What
reminding them of their obligation.
Order from the commander-in-chief that we are asking our military to carry out? So when you see this...
So she keeps trying, and the guy just will not answer the question. So they want to keep it completely gauzy, ethereal. They want to throw out the notion that somehow the president has given an illegal order. No, they're not telling us exactly what order he's given that's illegal, but we just want you to know that he's likely to do that, or he's already done it, and whatever the order is, we should disobey it. That's what's going on here. Ay, ay, ay. There's a historian that I've got on today, and I've never had the pleasure of having him on before. Jared Knott, who is a historian and the author of Tiny Blunders, Big Disasters, Book 2, The Many Tiny Mistakes That Changed the World Forever. And this week may have been one of those times. And I just wanted to get your feedback on this whole military, if you don't mind, the military commercial that was put out yesterday. And hey, we illegal orders. I mean, you've seen it all. What do you think?
Yes. Well, if the Democrats want to pursue the avenue that illegal orders were given and therefore should be disobeyed, they can go to court. They can file a lawsuit against the president and saying that such and such orders are in violation of the law, get the courts to rule in their favor, and go to the Supreme Court if necessary, say X orders XYZ are illegal and therefore they shouldn't be given, and therefore they're overturned, and therefore, of course, the soldiers in the field would not have to obey them in the first place. But way back at ROTC, this issue did come up. In fact, there's a movie out there back then, way back when, so long before that, Bridge of the River Kwai, and they were talking about situations where a commander gives a order that are illegal, so on and so forth. Well, that's an extreme situation. If you have people lined up, and like in the Nazi Germany, or your military order to shoot and kill them, it's an obvious illegal order. In those situations, you're obligated to refuse the order. But that is nowhere near anything that's happening here in the United States. They say they have, and I believe them, exquisite intelligence that these boats are carrying illegal drugs coming into the United States and killing tens of thousands of people in the United States. They have been warned, and I think this it's a kind of an act of war, act of criminal/war situation. I think they're perfectly entitled to destroy those boats carrying illegal drugs, killing Americans.
Has he done anything that you think is illegal at all? I mean, has he done anything illegal yet?
No, not at all. And the gentleman makes a very good point. There's a long list of times when they tried to use the law to interfere with Donald Trump's progress as a candidate and progress as president. The whole hoax about the Russian collusion thing was a gigantic nothing burger. Just collapsed on him in the end. He was indicted, whatever it was, 91 times, convicted falsely in New York. The voters saw through that. It backfired on them and actually helped Donald Trump's campaign. They try to use the law in that way. They try to use it in many different ways. This is just another propaganda campaign on very flimsy ground that will go nowhere.
I worked on a story today for PJ Media, and it's out right now. And I found out from one of my colleagues that the husband of the congresswoman from New Hampshire is, you might know, or you may be surprised to learn, is Jake Sullivan's wife. Jake Sullivan, Hillary Clinton's former aide, Joe Biden's national security advisor, and the guy who imagined the pullout of Afghanistan, the plans of which he was personally responsible, along with the Secretary of State, which was an utter, unmitigated disaster and embarrassment for the United States of America, in my humble opinion. Now, here's my question to you. You can either respond to that if you choose, but here's my question to you. This week, we've come a long way. We've got 25 years from 9/11. We've got a real wacky Muslim who's now been elected to be the mayor 25 years after 9/11. And now President Trump is cozying up with the Saudis, who arguably brought upon, or at least bankrolled, most of the 9/11 hijackers. And so tell me what you're thinking about that. That's your main reason, raison d'etre for today. What are you thinking?
Yes, there's a kind of conflict there. The Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia allegedly did order the murder of that particular gentleman, that journalist who was attacked and cut to pieces with bone saws. And now what do? You very much need to support. We very much want him part of the Abraham Accords. We want peace in the Middle East. We want the huge financial resources that he has and the energy resources he has to be brought into partnership with Israel with its very advanced technology to create a great deal of prosperity and to move the entire region in the right direction. So what do? Do we say that we can't deal with this man because he has a past? Well, that issue, by the way, came up in World War II in North Africa. You had the French who had collusion at that point, the Vichy French collusion with the Nazis. Can you communicate with him? Do you want to make a deal with him? And the answer was, we'll make a deal with the devil if it advances the interest of winning the war. And that's kind of what we have to do here. We have to kind of hold our nose and grit our teeth. And by the way, when President Trump is talking to Mr. Putin, he's talking about Xi Jinping, he's talking, of course, President of China, they both have their hands just dipped in blood. They both killed thousands and thousands of innocent people. When it comes out and he rightly accuses them of that, what kind of a deal is he going to be able to put together? Not much, because they'll just blow the whole situation up. So he compliments them. They're tough, they're smart, and they are tough, and they are smart, and I have a good relationship with them. And he goes down that avenue, which is going to lead to a peace agreement, going to lead to trade agreement, it's going to lead to a successful result. Not that avenue that's going to be moralistic and righteous, and we insult them and we hope for the best. Well, that's just going to blow everything to pieces. So you have to choose that practical pathway, which is going to get you to the result, even if you're having to hold your nose in the process of doing it.
Yeah. I feel like that's the adult in the room kind of a thing to do. I raise my eyebrows and go, okay, I hope that the people whose loved ones were killed on 9/11 get something out of this. Okay. I want them to be made as whole as they could possibly get. I want there to be a moral reckoning with the crazy jihadis that the Saudi royal family consistently bankrolls. I want there to be some reason that we have in the offing that will bring about a more stable and less crazy, radical Saudi Arabia. I know that on paper, but if they're still those crazy Saudi royal families members are still bankrolling these Islamists, we got problems. I mean, we've got real problems.
Yeah, now for years, the Saudis were walking down both sides of the street. They were financing terrorism at the same time being friendly with the West. They had a good relationship with the Bush family. Things going on there that were a little bit sketchy. So it was always been kind of a split personality kind of situation. Now hopefully we're swung over to the more positive side, that maybe they're preparing to the better angels of their nature, and they're going in the direction of the Abraham Accords and peace in the Middle East, and putting pressure on Hamas and the other terrorists to come inside the tent and peace, prosperity, bridges, schools, hospitals, that sort of thing. And I think that's the way to go. We can't be moralistic as our number one priority. We have to be practical, and let's get the successful results as the number one priority. We have to sometimes forget some of the things that happened even just a few years ago.
Well, we're always being told by the Thomas Friedmans of the world and those folks that, in order to get along, we've got to be able to have trade with people. Okay, here it is. It's going to be proof of concept now. And I think it's been working actually pretty well for President Trump in this few months as he's been in office. And I think it's an important thing to try to do. I just don't want to be sold down the river and told that I'm being irrational if I get upset with the Saudis along the way.
Well, of course, now judging it by the results, the same way you would judge a football game, what's the score? How well has he been doing? It's just astounding what he's been able to accomplish to end the war in the Middle East. Of course, thousands of lives have been lost, but the Hamas apparently going to be brought under control. The process of being brought under control. The Hezbollah has been kind of neutralized to some extent. Where it looks like we're going to have peace in the Middle East, which is almost a miracle in itself, not to mention the other 7 wars that he's already solved. In addition to that, my favorite is in Cambodia, when you have like the 7,000 Buddhist priests there in their beautiful scarlet robes, nominating President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. How good is that? what a great optic. I mean, that's but it's funny. It does not advance his popularity in the United States maybe as much as it should. People vote their pocketbook okay, but prices were still a little bit high and very high at the grocery store. That's a high priority. Yeah, it's fine. You brought peace in 8 different wars, and yes, peace prize that's huge. But on that whole switching to a whole different subject, I think he's putting a huge amount of emphasis on affordability, and we're going to see a lot of job creation come to bear fruit in the first and second quarter of next year. A lot of factories being built, a lot of jobs being built in the factories, a lot of jobs once the factories are built. It is going to be the most prosperous economy, and he passes the one what he did in his first administration and the United and the history of the world. And we're going to have. I think he's going to do well this next year, and we're heading in the right direction.
From your lips to God's ears. I think he might be the most extraordinary president we've ever had. Yes?
He may go down in history as the best president of the United States we've ever had. Just at 10 months, list the accomplishments in just 10 months. And of course, with the trade agreements on $21 or $23 trillion worth of investment coming into the United States, it's going to reap huge dividends in terms of higher income, higher household income, more jobs, higher paying jobs, et cetera, et cetera. So he may go down in history as the very best president of the United States, even ahead of Lincoln and Washington. So.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. It's extraordinary. And thank you. I appreciate it. The book. Now, this is really interesting. Jared Knott's book is Tiny Blunders, Big Disasters, Book 2. He's a historian, so he knows wherever he speaks. And when a guy like this says, hey, Trump's probably the most extraordinary president we may have ever had, up there with the Titans, he's not kidding, because he knows about that. Tiny Blunders, Big Disasters, Book 2, The Many Tiny Mistakes That Changed the World Forever.
Yeah, you can go to tinyblundersbigdisasters.com, tinyblundersbigdisasters.com. We have a very fun website there. We have 2 free chapters. We have a portrait gallery and a fun quiz. And then we're running a special this weekend, so it's a fun place to visit.
Excellent. You are awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care. Jared Knott. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I really was concerned about this Saudi Arabia thing that Trump got involved in. I know that it was an important move. We need to have the Saudis in the Abraham Accords. We do. This is the extraordinary thing. If you haven't really been paying attention, and some of you have and some of you haven't, but this is a first core group of agreements with the neighbors of Israel that doesn't involve the Palestinian state. Because remember, decades, they'd go to Arafat and they'd say, okay, well, he would never cop to any solution with Israel at all. I mean, and so then what happened was, well, we want a 2-state solution. Well, they've had a 2-state solution, which has been an unmitigated disaster. And now what do we have? We have all these agreements around the Palestinians. Just absolutely brilliant. I'm not the biggest Jared Kushner fan. That was his deal. So good on you, bud. Even people you don't like can come up with smart things every once in a while. A person I do like is Dan Sandini. He's on his phone. He's on a cruise ship or something. What are you doing?
I am on the Queen Mary 2 out of Southampton Docks in London, England, on my way to New York City, then home for the holidays. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. But I was so upset by this.
Is that what the leisure class is doing?
It doesn't. Life doesn't suck, Victoria.
No, it doesn't. Good for you. I mean, you've had your.
It really is. These Q&R cruises, I can really. It's the first one I've ever been on, and I can recommend that. But yeah. So it's really nice, very upscale, and there's no water slides. Just put it that way. It's not that kind of cruise at all.
No, yeah. We've been on one cruise. We took it to be with our friends, and we were just blown away. It was amazing, and it was a little river cruise, so it's one of those small boats and no kids.
Nice.
Stuff. The ones for old farts. Yeah, so that's what we.
That's it. There's everyone on this boat's ready to be mothballed. That's what I said. So two young guys playing darts last night. Oh,
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
They are the musicians. They are the musicians for the boat. That's why they're so young. That's what I was saying. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
speaking of tiny blunders, big disasters.
Yeah.
Let's talk about let's
He's
talk about what
redirecting
went
me.
on down at the University of
University of
Oregon
Oregon.
a week ago. Right?
Yeah, you are like a dog with a bone with this. You're on another part of the world, and this is a big important deal to you. So
It
thank
really
you.
is. I mean, you get your teeth into something and it just rubs you raw. And the thing is that you've got the live streamers, right? But there's so much left in the wake of the live streamers, right? That nobody stops to collect the mess and hold the left accountable, I guess. And that's what I view my role in this thing is, Victoria. And thank you for giving bandwidth to it. But about a week ago, Tommy Boy, this is Tommy for Trump. And if we lose track of the narrative here, people can go out to my blog, daylightdisinfectant.com. Just spell it out just like it is. You'll get the full story and the links to these guys. But Tommy Boy is a controversial figure up in Portland who is sort of a right wing activist, provocateur, but a peaceful one, sort of a little bit more edgy than Charlie Kirk in terms of, and probably a little less erudite than Charlie, right? In terms of getting in the left's faces and saying things to them like trans women or men, right? They've managed to squash the Portland ICE protests down to its nothing. So it looks like they're looking for other things to do. So I was watching them on the live feed. They went down to University of Oregon Ducks down in Eugene. Yeah, right. So they went down there, and Tommy Boy got assaulted by the surprise when he showed up doing this down on the university campus. He had the left provoked by a member of the staff. Jack Kemp, who you'll find his picture out on my blog, Jack Kemp, who took whistles out there, Victoria, got in their faces, took out a bag of whistles during what would normally be working hours. We haven't established that he was working at the time, okay? Goes out there, and you can see him in the photo and in the video that's linked from Right Side Rebel. She's another sort of provocateur down there, extraordinaire. But they're peaceful.
She's the one getting in all the fights. Whatever.
Yeah,
we did talk to Hunny Badger Mom about this earlier in the program, but not to the extent you are.
In her defense, okay. In her defense, I think that a lot of things happen off camera in terms of her, getting her phone knocked out of her hands and equipment damaged, and I've been there before too, and it's not fun.
Yeah.
Any case, but it ended up with this Jack Kemp guy inciting what I call inciting a riot. You watch the video and decide for yourself, folks. And the kids. Kids, these are grown adults, they're going to the university down there, ended up pelting Tommy Boy with tomatoes. And people say, okay, Dan, why are you making such a big frigging deal out of tomatoes? Because, Victoria, it's a fine line between tomatoes and bullets to the neck, okay? The next week, you're going to have people getting Charlie Kirk down there. And that's why, Tommy Boy, I don't even know the guy, okay? I don't know any of these people, all right? I know him from their live streams, okay? But I just have worked it for so long there, Victoria, that I'm not going to let the left get away with it. I'm holding this guy accountable. And so that happened last Wednesday that he was assaulted. And by Friday, we had the dean emailing back through the president. It took me getting the president involved, the university, John Schultz. Okay, and the dean is
excellent.
It's Howard. Yeah, he's so far. He emailed me back and said, it's Dean Howard. He said, we're doing an investigation, and that's fine. And I think that's good that they're looking into this guy. But where did he get the whistles from? Right? Was he on company time when he did it? Okay. Why is he doing this? Why is he teaching kids to take whistles and shut down the free speech of a university? And he's definitely violating their code of conduct for faculty and staff. And what are you going to do about it, John Schultz? What are you going to do about it, Dean Howard? Okay. And I haven't. And they are working their investigation, and you have to give it time through what's likely a human resources matter, right? But today I got so fed up thinking about it. Today I said, you know what? Who's funding these people? Where you were saying that earlier? Where do they get their money from? But right? Where do they get their money from? And it occurred to me that they get hundreds of millions of dollars from Nike.
right? So let's get Nike involved. So I emailed Nike and yeah, I started to get them involved so they can see my email to Phil Knight personally, who is the president emeritus at Nike up there in Portland, to him saying, hey, pretty much in a polite way, in my own polite civil way, what the fuck? I can't say that. What the f? I'm sorry. What the f? Okay, is going on down at this university? Okay, where these kids are being allowed to pelt tomatoes, people with tomatoes. Okay, and so I guess what ends up in a call to action. I want people to focus. If anybody out there sees your podcast, go to my feed. It's at Daylight Dis 1776. Okay, at Daylight Dis
On X.
1776 on X. Or daylightdisinfectant.com. You'll find all the links and the call to action of who to email. Email the president of the university, email the dean, tell them how you feel, email Phil Knight, tell him how you feel about Nike's money being spent down there with students pelting the Portland Patriots, who the next day, and you say, okay, so it's their fault, right? They went down there and behaved that way. Well, they did the same thing the next day down with the Beavers at Oregon State, right? And the whole thing was just normal. Okay, the civil dialogue.
Oh, seriously? Oh, yeah. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. Okay, got it. Yeah. So
Right.
that's how it is with Antifa. Yeah, when you Patriot Prayer or Proud Boys. Enrique Tarrio was in Portland the other night, and they could just be there, and nothing will happen. It's not until Antifa gets there or someone starts, making a big deal about it and starting getting in people's faces and committing acts of violence, throwing tomatoes, unacceptable behavior. Absolutely. Boy, is really annoying sometimes.
We had concrete rock guy, right? Up in Portland, right? Come up behind the guy with a big piece of concrete and hit the guy in the back of the head, and put him to the pavement and up in the hospital, up at OHSU, same day. So that's what it's coming. If you don't stop this,
it's going to get worse.
President Schultz, Dean Howard down there, if you're listening to my podcast, and I surely will email them the link to this when we're done and say, hey, I'm talking about this. What is going on down there? What's the status of the investigation? Thanksgiving Day is coming. Game Day is coming. And if you think that I'm done making noise, okay, I can't make a lot of noise, okay, but I'm not going to shut up, okay, until Jack Kemp, okay, the guy with the whistles, who should be the responsible adult in the room podcast, right, is the guy who should be teaching the kids to be civil, and instead he's inciting a riot, all right, and likely caused this assault on Tommy Boy down there, okay? So, what's going on? And people should email and call. The telephone numbers and phones are wide open for Nike investor relations, for the dean and for the president are all wide out on the open on their website. It's not like I'm doxing anybody. There's their email address and phone numbers. If you're concerned about how your taxpayer dollars are being spent, they have great grants down there, right? If you're concerned about how your purchase of running shoes, I've run 22 marathons in Nikes, let Phil Knight know how you think his money is being poorly spent down there until they hold this guy accountable. Jack Kemp needs to go. That's what it says. Pretty much says that in my blog. Okay, that guy needs to go. He doesn't belong on a university campus. Okay, and that was my email to those guys. So that's what's going on, Victoria. It's still up in the air. It's a week out now, and I just finished emailing Phil Knight this morning and sent the email to him and posted it to my blog. And as of last Friday, it was an ongoing investigation. I keep checking the University of Oregon website to see if Jack Kemp's personnel profile is still there. It's still there. So I keep hoping that it won't be there one of these days when I go back to it. But yeah, that's what's going on.
Interesting. Good job. You keep making a big deal about it. I'm still going to write about it over at PJ Media, and it'll be in my West Coast Mest Coast update tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So stay tuned for that. Cool.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate you having me on so much. I'll keep blogging it. daylightdisinfectant.com. Please, everybody, email and call.
Dan Sandini, thank you so much. Oh, somebody says I look like an auntie. Well, yeah, probably. I've got several nieces and nephews. I always get, you get enough critical mass of people, and invariably someone calls or
you look beautiful,
texts.
Victoria.
I look like a man. I look like a man in a tranny, according to some people.
Oh, Victoria, I love you so much. You've done so much for the cause. When you were KPAM host up there too, we would have, Occupy would have gone on for another month if it wasn't for you. So,
I went
we
every
shut
day to
that one
Occupy.
down.
I did shows from Occupy on which you appeared. I mean,
That's right.
We
There's
loved it.
famous photos of me. I'm probably wearing this now. I'm not wearing the same stuff, but pretty close. That I was wearing when I was sitting at that table with you. Yeah.
I have a question for you, and this has nothing to do with anything with respect to Antifa or anything. How many pairs of running shoes do you go through on a yearly basis?
It's a good trick. So you keep 3 going. If you have money, okay, you can avoid injury by keeping 3 pairs going that you rotate and take 1 day off a week. So you keep 3 pairs going for 3 months and you swap them out. So during the course of the year, that's 9 pair. And now they're over $200 a pair. So you do the math, you know what I mean? But that's what I do that. Yeah. But I log a lot of miles for the marathon. So for training. So keep 3 pairs going. There's a good marathon hint for people.
Yeah, I used to go through when I was playing tennis a lot, which, I spent hours a week doing that and kept me sane. Some people would say it didn't, but I say it did. I would go through, I'd go through pairs per year. I mean, because you can't, unless you like having sore hips and knees. So anyway.
I don't want to put a brand name. I'm not using Phil Knight shoes right now, but I won't not right now, but I've used the Zoom Vomero and the Pegasus for many years, and I'm not going back to Nike for anything right now. It just pisses me off, Victoria. I'm sorry, but this whole thing just the whole leftist that you can go ahead and do anything you want to somebody like Tommy Boy, okay? But if they did that to, they can do it to us at will, right? It doesn't matter, right, what they do, but they're never held accountable. The hypocrisy is so thick down there. It's sickening to me. The whole thing is just sickening. I won't let go of it, but I won't let it ruin my cruise. But please call and email.
You go have fun. What time is it in where you are? What time is it? Like on Pacific Coast
time right now. Ship's time is 10 minutes past 9. We move it ahead 1 hour as we sail from east to west. So overnight tonight we move it ahead 1 hour as we're traveling along here. So it's a little bit difficult. I've got a watch that keeps 2 time zones, so I'm good. I kind of, it was a little bit tricky. This is probably likely one of the first live broadcasts from a cruise ship on one of these smaller podcasts, right? So there you go.
There you go. We appreciate it. I mean, it's awesome. Thank you so much, Dan Sandini. Daylight Disinfectant. Daylight Disinfectant.
Go there right now. I don't make any money off it at all. It's just for the altruism of it. Go ahead and take a look at the story. Thanks, Victoria. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's awesome. Daylight Dis on X and Daylight Dis 1776 on X. So he's been involved in the conservative movement a long time. And so he's been helpful, and now he's going, okay, I'm mad now. I want somebody to do something about allowing people to throw tomatoes at somebody who has an opposing viewpoint. It is viewpoint discrimination. And by the way, when you work for the University of Oregon and you supply the students with whistles, which are probably the rape whistles they give to girls to be on campus, and when you supply those people with them and then you say, here, use these to drown out these other people down the street, and then they do, you're inciting. And then people end up throwing tomatoes at Tommy Boy. Come on, get out of here. Yeah. Who's this? Dan? Dan says Tommy needs a commie pox vax or keep the faith. Well, that's right. Exactly right. Well, anyway, folks, thanks so much. Oh, Dirk says I'm not going to buy Nike either. Oh, Phil Knight's a good dude, stand-up dude, and he's not running the company anymore. But the corporation's running the company, and sadly, they're going. I mean, they've been woke for a long time, but things are getting worse, and they cannot stand behind this movement of incivility and the movement towards censorship. And they've got to stand up for something. Didn't they run that ad for Colin, what's his kisser, who's the football player who said, you'll stand for anything, and even if it costs you everything? Well, that's what those people are doing. And you might just stand up and respect it. Maybe that would be helpful to you. Until Tuesday, we've got a great Okay, you have to be here for Tuesday. Tuesday's program is Douglas Mackey. Yeah, thank you, Kaepernick, Colin Kaepernick. Thank you so much, Dirk. I appreciate that. Douglas Mackey is the guy who was prosecuted for retweeting someone else's meme about the 2016 election. We go through his entire case. Now, if you're a law nerd, you're going to love it. And if you are somebody who believes in civil liberties, you're going to love it too, because it's just an outrage what happened to him 2 days after the Biden administration took office. They arrested him. Wow. For 2016. Biden came in 2021. Somebody was, the Trump administration was going, what are you doing? There's nothing, he didn't break any laws. This is like, remember, it's free speech? Well, remember free speech? Well, that went out the window. And of course, everybody who suffered at the hands of the Biden administration in terms of censoring political speech, they know what happened. Oh, I know. And so does Douglas Mackey. So we'll hear from him, and it's going to be a long interview. It's going to be great. And I really appreciate you being here today. Remember, head up, heart out, and strive to be the adult in the room. That's right. Mischief Manage. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this episode of the Adult in the Room podcast. We do not take you for granted. We appreciate every single person who tunes in every week to listen and watch this program. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday, live streaming on Rumble, and then on every other podcast platform shortly thereafter, when we can port it over and get it over there as soon as we can. All the shows can be found at victoriataft.com, where the censorship regime has been banned by me. Follow me on social media at these names: Victoria Taft, the Adult in the Room podcast, and the Victoria Taft Show. Send media inquiries, or any others for that matter, to victoria@victoriataft.com. And here's a big ask. Would you please subscribe, share, like, comment, recommend, and give this program a 5-star rating where you can? We really appreciate it. We do not take that for granted either. Follow my work at, you guessed it, victoriataft.com. PJ Media, I write tons over there. Flamingo Audiobooks, and of course the radio. I don't do this alone. This show is produced and engineered by Overall Media. 1A Cast is responsible for some of the Adult in the Room podcast's imaging. Logo design by Hageman Creative. The Adult in the Room podcast is produced at Flamingo Road Studios. All rights reserved.